Hi, and this is my beautiful, mysterious story about my journey. Okay. Um. Anyway, like I was saying, that was my very first apartment, and I was always passing my inspections. I always kept my house clean. I mean, there were some days but I always passed on time. If anything that would mess up and be like maybe a water leak or something, I always call it in. And then there was a time where when you don't have no hot water, you don't have no heat, and you have 3 kids in the house, you know. So, it was kind of like being treated unfairly, and I ended up getting evicted from my apartment, my very first apartment. But, which I didn't mind it, you know what I'm saying? Um, it just, things wasn't handled fairly. And, it's not just like me just saying that out the blue. It's when you know already, in a spiritual way. Inside, you already know. You keep going into that office and you don't say nothing, but this person steady complaining about you. What is it about you that she don't like? Either me or the other person. And that's not right. That's wrong, you know? So, and anyway, that was my very first apartment, and things was going good in my relationship. And I'm getting back to all the questioning and all that, you know, um, and it's just like after that incident happened about, because it, the thing that got me is because it wasn't used for my son. It's used for a different purpose or situation. Anyway, but that's what, that's the bass. But and then it's just like after that situation happened, another situation happened to where, they school, you have to put your kid in school and all that. Oh, okay, then just be honest and tell me what is it that you need me to do so he can go to school. Why can't you just be honest? And if instead of me finding a lie or being tricked into doing things that is not right, especially if I'm not in knowledge of anything that goes on, I'm not told anything. I have to go through other people to find out. Even the babysitters, even the daycare across the street. It's crazy. Um, but that's okay. I learned to deal with my anger. I learned to not respond the way I used to respond. I take a deep breath in. And then I start watching the reaction of how the way I now look from the outside. I'm not in the box anymore. I'm on the outside watching you in the box. And I didn't realize I started meditating, seeking knowledge. The first thing I started looking up is narcissist. Yes. Narcissist is a big thing that's going on like now. In relationships, it can be a soul partner, soulmate. It can be a friend. It can be anybody that's controlling, that bosses you around, that treats you bad. And then they use triangular to go through another person to get to you, to hurt you. And also, while the middle person is trying to hurt you, they're also hurting the other person. And I was going through that with my family. And then I also was going through that with my relationship. So it made me look like, oh, she done lost it. No, I didn't lose nothing. I found it. It's mine. But anyway, um, yeah. Um, and then I even witnessed my family members lying on me. I started calling it out. If I see bullshit, I call it out. If I try to be, when I come forward with it, I be coming with it respectfully. Because I know, and you got to experience it to know when something's up, when something's wrong, when something's not right. Kept getting these feelings inside. It just felt different. And, my parents started showing up at my house. And just without me knowing. It'd be nice if they would have told me they were coming over to the apartment. And then I started getting into arguments in my relationship, the person I was with. And I understand now because she was going through some things. And I pray for her. And she did help me a lot. Her and her family, it's like they took me into, and they helped me with bills. And I paid my bills. I didn't even bother to ask my mom or dad for money anymore. I stopped asking them for stuff. And if I was to ask my dad now for something, he and I have the money to pay him, he'd tell me don't worry about it. He don't tell me. But I stopped asking them for money. I come up with my own light money. I come up with my own bills. I started to, take responsibility for what I needed to do. I was taking care of my kids. And, at that time, the money could have helped. And, they made it like I couldn't do nothing. They made it like I didn't have anything. They made it, and it hurt me. And, one day my son seen me crying. My oldest, he's 7. He seen me crying on the couch. And he came over. He gave me a hug. And he said, Mama, don't cry. It's going to be all right. He told me. And Janae, my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, her daughter used to always say, Mommy's crying. She would say, they were so cute. I just miss it. That was my first part. And, and I tried so hard to do things, and, I was just treated unfairly. Very unfairly. And disrespected and rude. And, I try to cause no problems with nobody out there. I'm just trying to be myself. So what if you didn't like the other person? That don't mean you blame me for this the cause of you not liking this other person. Even at the beginning, when I first started talking to her, she tried to already lie and judge her, at the beginning when she first started going out there, And it's just a big mess, and I loved her, and, and I cared, I took a lot of people in my apartment, because I know how it feels to be out there, in the streets, and I took a lot of people in, because I cared. They needed food, I feed them. They needed a place to lay their head down, I let them lay their head down, because I've been through some rough times. But I had, it's just, I had all that stuff. It's not all about things, but that's just my own personal little home. But I'm not saying I can't never get another place when I can, And I started meditating on narcissism, and it's where it happens when you're little. You know, they make it to where they make you unable to, where you have to rely on them for everything. Your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, anything. That's just like you gotta go to them. And then when you come from having hard times on the streets, and then now you made a big change, it's just like even harder because this pointless of you and trying to ask just for a little help to help with the storages, you know, and at the time I had to put all my stuff in storage because I ended up getting evicted from that apartment, and I had so much stuff, and and then I couldn't afford. I had to let all that stuff go. I had my baby's pictures, my baby's birth certificate, and all that stuff in there, and I just let it go. And I say, you know, I'll just give it to God. I just let the apartment go. I gave it to God. I gave everything to God. I didn't care anymore, you know. I let God just take care of it. You know, karma come around, karma's gonna come. You know, I even witnessed it come to me. You know, things started happening to me where I'm because I've done a lot of bad things in my past, but now it was being done to me. You know, and I had to face my karma. So I couldn't judge that person that was taking and stealing from me because I used to be the same way. You know, you got to look at it. You got to put your feet in the other shoes. I'm sorry. You got to put your foot in the other shoes, the other person's shoes to see how it feels to be treated like that. You know, especially when that person also is going through things with their family. And you try to work things out with their family, you fall in love with their family, even though we may fall out sometime, but it's beautiful. Very, very beautiful. No way. But I'm happy that things did happen the way it did because I got to take care of my mom. And for the first time, I got to speak up for myself. Tell my mom how I felt. Tell my dad how I felt. Tell my sister and brother how I felt. So I'm going to end it here.